Hey, what's up? It's Tati and I'm back with another review, this time AEW Revolution pay-per-view. I actually enjoyed this pay-per-view. Now, I was wrong about some of my predictions, but there is something that I want to put out there before I discuss the results. So this pay-per-view right here, I felt like even though coming into it, I kind of did lose a little bit of interest. I think they made the right decision for all the matches here tonight as far as the winners go. I feel like if you really take the time to look at who won versus who they were in a match with, we pretty much see some of the young up-and-coming talent winning these matches compared to the more established wrestlers. So, you know, the guys that we always seen that's winning, the guys who have much more experience compared to their opponent. I think we really got a chance to see a lot of people go over compared to those established wrestlers, and I feel like this is a right step in this direction by having some of these guys who are the future of AEW winning these matches. So that's something that I really appreciate, and I think Tony made a right call with all the winners tonight. Even though I would have preferred to see some other people win tonight, I do feel like he made the right call in terms of the future of AEW. Let's get into these results. So we had the pre-show was on YouTube. It was the Lucha Brothers, Mark Briscoe versus the Varsity Athletes and Ari Daivari, and for that match I feel like it was a great way to get the crowd engaged and pumped up for the pay-per-view. Now, I was wrong about them adding at least another match onto the pre-show. I guess they spent a lot of time focusing on what was to come rather than having any other matches included. So for this only match that was on the pre-show, they did a really great job. I did feel a little pumped up coming into the pay-per-view. It's obvious who won here, which is Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers. I really did enjoy this match. It was pretty fun, and you know what? I really love Mark Sterling's dedication into his role. Like, he's really all in, just like how all these wrestlers are all in into what they're doing. I really enjoyed that. So it was a great way to start off the show. No complaints. Let's get into the main card. First match on the main card is Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. I felt like this was a great way to start off the show. They had a really great pace throughout the match. Now, we do have Ricky Starks who come into this match with his stomach taped up from that beat down he got from the Jericho Appreciation Society the other day. So that was something that Chris Jericho was focusing on throughout the match. However, even though, you know, Jericho's Appreciation Society cannot be out there, we still have Sammy who runs out during the match and come up to the apron, not to physically get involved, like put his hands on Sammy, but he's there for a distraction so that Chris Jericho can use the baseball bat to, you know, hit hit Ricky with. And before he can even get up to the apron, out of the blue, he got speared by Action Andretti, and at first you couldn't really tell it was him, because when I tell you, Action Andretti just pretty much came out of thin air and then he ran and hit Sammy. Once his hoodie came down, that's when I was able to see that it was him, and you know, everybody was marking out because they're excited since he won't be able to interfere. But this was a really great match to start off the show. I have no complaints about this, but the one thing I didn't know was that Chris Jericho has never won at a Revolution pay-per-view. So this is his fourth match at a Revolution pay-per-view, and he ended up losing this to Ricky Starks. So Ricky ends up blocking a Judas Effects and then hit a Rochambeau and ends up winning. I'm really glad they went with this route. I really feel like Chris Jericho, even though he's the heel here, he has been putting over Ricky, especially if you listen to his commentary on Rampage. He's always saying good things about Ricky, but then, you know, he'll come up with snarky things to say about Ricky because he is heel. But I think that this storyline has really helped elevate Ricky's career. It wasn't his best match ever, but I do think working with somebody like Chris Jericho is absolutely priceless. So I really enjoyed this match. Next up, we had the final burial match with Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Now, I'll say this. If you're looking for a technical match with these two guys, this ain't for you. I think what they really did was play a lot with the storyline and the emotions behind what was going on in this story. So you're not gonna really see like the best match that you've ever seen between these two. And I think it worked out really well. So this was another great match on the card that I really did enjoy, because they were really tapping into the emotions here. So Christian was being a complete heel the entire time, even sometimes trying to avoid even going towards the ramp so that he's nowhere near the casket. There was a point in the match where they did go out into the crowd and Jungle Boy ended up dropping somebody's beer onto Christian, so that was kind of cool to see. I really do feel like this storyline is basically over after watching this match. I would be surprised if they continued it. I don't know where they're going to go from here, especially having a match called the Final Burial. So I think it's over. And I have to say, like, being Jack Perry, working with somebody like Christian, I'm pretty sure he's gotten a lot of tips and things from Christian to really help with his career. So this is one of those matches, like I was saying, how these established wrestlers were putting over some of the talent that are the future of AEW. So Jack ends up winning this match. So the only complaint here was that even at the end, we did have Christian get Jack into the coffin. He ends up coming out, and then Christian now is in the coffin. I want to say, like, there was really getting into this storyline where Jack was just standing there for like a hot minute, just thinking about, should I close this casket? And it's like, bro, this is the final burial. At this point, you're going to want things to be over. You're not going to be sitting here thinking about Christian and his feelings or whatever. You get him in, close the casket, and the match is done. But he hesitated once again, and I kind of felt like, if this is the final match that you guys are going to have, there should have been no hesitation. But either way, I still feel like they really did a good job with this. And yeah, I hope that this storyline is over. Not that it was bad or anything. It's just that with Christian being gone with the injury to his shoulder, he was gone for quite some time, and it was in the middle of a storyline. So him coming back, and then in 2 weeks they have this match. I think it was good for what it was, and they should probably not revisit any issues between these guys again. But I did enjoy it. Up next, we had the first titles on the line, and that was for the trios titles. So it was the Elite versus House of Black. And oh my gosh, this was a really great match. Now, I'm just gonna put it this way. I feel like we keep seeing a lot of the same things with the Elite, but even though we're seeing a lot of things that we normally see with them, I still feel like they delivered a really great match. Them going against House of Black, I really wish they had a strong storyline coming into this. It kind of all felt rushed and not really having much of a story, but they had an amazing match. The crowd was absolutely behind it. You know, all members of the House of Black was looking real good in the ring. Their presence, they have a strong presence about them that I really like. And I feel like, you know, they really put not just the Elite, but anybody who's a trio watching this match should take a look at what they're doing and probably be fearful of these guys. So they put a really great match. The only complaint I have here is that they had a spot coming on that was going to involve Julia. Now, I'm pretty sure anyone watching this was expecting Julia to get involved in any type of way. So she's standing on the ropes, and it just seemed like she was just standing there for quite some time. And then we had like where Omega kept trying to avoid hurting her, whatever. And then either way, she ends up getting a V trigger from Omega. And I felt like they had that spot coming, but it took a long time to deliver it, and it kind of felt obvious that something was going to happen. It just took way too long for it to happen. So now, you know, Julia is hurt and she's outside the ring, and we are continuing this match. And when I tell you, like, Kenny, after that V trigger, he just looked and he was like, fuck it. Like, he didn't even care if he hit her or whatever. And they kept going on with the match. I really felt like once again, this is the Elite. They're more of established stars in AEW, and they put over the House of Black, which I was not expecting at all. I was only hoping, because I've been wanting them to have these trios titles since before they even announced the trios title. So I'm so happy that the House of Black ended up winning. Oh, and then after the match, they were supposed to be celebrating or something, because they had like this not like a red light, like an orange reddish light in the middle of the ring, and I think the House of Black was supposed to, like, you know, celebrate and probably hold up the titles in the middle of the ring, something like that, and they just left. So it kind of felt a little awkward after that, because they had those special lights on but nothing happened. That was just another thing to kind of throw things off. And I was just like, okay, something's gonna happen. But House of Black already booked it and went to the back. So I'm so happy that they are champions, and I cannot wait to see where they go from here. If anything, I just want to see the Bucks being the tag team. And Kenny, well, you already know he got an IWGP title, and he also is better as a singles competitor. So we'll see where that goes. So now on to the AEW Women's Championship match with Saraya, Jamie Hayter, and Ruby Soho. Let's see. Okay, so it's like 9 o'clock and this match is starting. So I was like, okay, they're on their 4th match. I think the show had a really good pace, especially knowing that you're going to have a Iron Man match at the end. So by 9 o'clock, we already had the 4th match, and every match up until then felt really, really good. And then the women's match come on. Now, I did enjoy it. I just felt like the pace kind of slowed down with this match. As usual, you know, we had some interferences in this match, and I really feel like that's not needed, especially with these 3 girls here. They're really strong competitors, so I didn't feel like that was needed. Saraya, this is probably her best match since she's been back. This is the best I think she's done, and she looked like she was more comfortable than any other time. Like I said, it's going to take time after being gone for what, 5 years or so, and coming back into the ring. So she looks really good here. I wanted Jamie to win, and I feel like that was going to be the right call. So Jamie does end up winning after pinning Ruby. Now here's where things get confusing. So after that, Britt comes in, Tony comes in, all the girls are fighting, and Ruby's in the corner just like not wanting to get involved. And I just already could smell it. Like, she was going to pick a side tonight, and I really thought that it was going to be with Tony and Saraya. So now all the girls are fighting, and then she ends up attacking Saraya and Tony. Now the 2 girls are outside the ring, and then Ruby says something near the camera like, oh, you think I'm gonna take your side? This is my house, or whatever she said, kind of referencing that, you know, AEW is her home, right? So she says all that, and even after that, she ends up attacking Jamie, and then she ends up attacking Britt. And it felt so weird, because now at that point you're like, okay, are you on anybody's side? Like, whose side are you on? And I kind of felt like that kind of threw me off. I think it probably threw off a lot of people. So I'm assuming that she sided with Tony and Saraya with this. I just felt like the way it happened, she should have only attacked the people of the side that she was not going to take, and not everybody. I know they probably wanted to throw everybody off, because people was probably speculating that she was going to take Saraya and Tony's side, but I just felt like the delivery of it was not that great. So this match wasn't bad. I just think that it died down a little bit after those first 3 matches, which were really, really awesome. But yeah, let's see where this storyline goes. I am so sick of this storyline. It just doesn't make sense for me. Let's move on to the next match. Now on to the Texas Death Match with Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. Now, I personally do not like death matches. However, I feel like compared to the ones that I've had seen, AEW definitely don't go all the way like how other promotions will do, like CZW or like GCW. Like, they're pretty tame compared to these guys. So I didn't mind watching this match, but I don't think it appeals to everybody who watches AEW, because, you know, that's like a different type of wrestling, and at times I feel like it's not even wrestling at all. But these two actually did a really great job. I feel like they had a really great pace with this match, even though at times we see things that seem to be pretty gruesome. I still felt like it was enjoyable, and because we've seen like little things that Moxley do, like him having that fork or barbed wires. We've seen the chairs and things incorporated in matches before, so it didn't seem so bad compared to what we've seen in AEW in the past. I will admit, I do feel a little bit, let's see, like Adam Page impressed me here. I was not expecting the ending at all. So for me, I feel like in this storyline, Jon Moxley was strong the entire way. I do feel like we had improvements with Adam in this storyline, but I feel like he just haven't gone as far as I would like for him to go. However, this match here ends with they brought like a really long chain into the ring, and they're incorporating that with their moves. So now we got to a point where it's hanging around Jon Moxley's neck, and he's hanging off the ropes, and his feet aren't touching the ground. So now Hangman is pulling and he's choking Moxley, and then within seconds Moxley ends up tapping on his shoulder, and the match is over. And I was so surprised. Like, I kind of looked away for a second, and then Moxley tapped. It just happened so quickly because I was not expecting Moxley to lose this match. So Hangman wins, and then he just leaves. Like, he just, I guess he felt so validated after that moment. And I'm pretty sure the storyline's over. It has to be over. Like, the way he won was clean. It was exactly how even Moxley would have probably wanted to win it this way. And I actually enjoyed this match. I don't have any complaints. I wonder if Moxley's going to go into vacation. He's done so much for AEW over this past year. And, you know, I'm proud of him. He's done such a great job. And now we'll see where things go moving forward. I actually enjoyed this. Up next, we had the TNT Championship on the line. So Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. And I feel like things died down a bit, especially with the crowd. Sometimes the, you know, the crowd being really pumped up, it really helps with the match. And then when they die down, it kind of does a disservice to the match as well. And I think that's one of those cases. So it wasn't a bad match, but I just felt like, you know, compared to how the crowd was more engaged, especially with that death match, it just felt like a bit of a different pace once it comes to the crowd. I was actually wrong about, no, wait, I was right about this one. I did think here that Samoa Joe was going to drop the title, especially since he is holding the ROH TV title, and I think that's supposed to be more of a focus for him coming into the Supercard of Honor pay-per-view later on this month. So Wardlow actually wins it in a surprising way to me, in a chokehold, and making Samoa Joe tap. I was not expecting that at all. So throughout the match, we do have Powerhouse Hobbs, who's sitting probably in a skybox or something like that, and he's watching the match. So several times there, the camera is, you know, on Hobbs watching this match. So I don't know, like, I just wasn't expecting that finish. The match wasn't bad, but I just wasn't feeling as engaged because of the pacing of the show. Like what we experienced in that last match and then the next match, it just wasn't the same energy to me. But now we have a new TNT champion, and we'll see Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs at Dynamite this Wednesday, and I don't really see Wardlow losing it so fast. If anything, he's going to put on the fight of his life to make sure he doesn't lose the title in 3 days. So I am looking forward to seeing that on Dynamite. Okay, so on to the Fatal 4-Way tag match for the AEW Tag Team Championship. This was my least favorite match of the night. I ain't even surprised about that. Like, I tried to keep an open mind about this, but I still felt like they did exactly what I expected, which was focusing on stupid shit. So we have the Guns as champions versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Orange Cassidy, Danhausen, and the Acclaim. Yo, I just wasn't feeling this. Like, the match that we had on Rampage the other night with the tag teams was much better than this to me. And oh my god, I don't know, like, I didn't have high expectations about this, but I tried to be open-minded and fair about it. I feel like they do the same thing that they do every match, which is interferences with Sanjay and Satnam, them just going the comedic route with whatever they're doing in the ring. I just did not, I don't know, I just was not feeling this at all. But like I said, I wasn't surprised of what they were doing. So yeah, didn't like it at all. So yes, we do get to see a little bit more of Danhausen actually competing in the ring. I still feel like they haven't even scratched the surface of using Danhausen to his potential. But I just felt like Orange Cassidy and Danhausen being part of this match was unnecessary. The Guns end up retaining the titles. They did end up pinning Danhausen, which is not surprising to me at all. So after that, Renee comes into the ring and basically giving them like a little interview with the Guns, and right while they're talking, FTR comes out. Did I find that surprising? No, I didn't find that surprising. And I think that coming into this pay-per-view, people have been hearing about issues with FTR and AEW or Tony Khan, so maybe some people were not expecting that, but I wasn't surprised about it at all. I do know Dax said he wanted to have some time to rest or whatever. I just felt like it was going to be a little bit longer than this. But anyways, great to have them back. And they ended up holding the tag titles after attacking the Guns. And I would like to see them champion again. I would prefer that over the Guns being champions. But like I said, this is just another match where we're seeing the guys who are supposed to be the future of this business holding gold. So the Guns, and also with Wardlow and Samoa Joe. So I think that was pretty good to see. In the end, I think Tony made the right call with the results of these matches as far as the winners go. Alright y'all, on to the main event, the Iron Man match, 60 minutes with MJF and Bryan Danielson for the AEW World title. And this was a great match. Now, if you're looking for something that's high pace, high energy, stuff that we see throughout this pay-per-view, this ain't it. This was much more of a technical match between these guys, and they had to have a really good pacing throughout this match, obviously to be the last one standing and winning this match. So towards the end of the match, we do have 3-3, so I figured this is definitely going to be a draw right off the bat. And you know what, I don't want to say I'm surprised at MJF, but he did really, really well. And the reason why people might think that that's a little bit surprising is because we don't see him wrestle often. And after the pay-per-view, I did watch the media scrum where MJF is being interviewed, and he said it himself, like, you know, you don't see me in the ring often. Like, it would be stupid for him to be in the ring often. And you know what, that's kind of smart. It's smart of him. And so when you do get to see him in the ring, then you get to see him do things that you normally don't get to see. And it feels like a rare commodity as a champion. So I think that makes him look good, especially as a champion, not seeing him wrestle often. I think that's a good thing, but sometimes it's a bad thing. And when I say a bad thing, I mean like Roman Reigns. You know, him being champion for so long and we don't even barely see any title defenses. I don't like that, but I still think that MJF did a really good job with this match. So we did have a part of this match where MJF is in the crowd. He grabs a cup of beer from a lady, and then he throws it as a little kid right next to her. I guess maybe her son or whatnot. And I was like, holy shit. Like, even though he's a heel and you should expect something like this, it just came out of the blue. And I did hear stuff about that little kid crying or whatever, and AEW ended up taking him to the back, and I guess they did like nice things for him or whatever to calm him down. However, we continue on with this match. It is like 5 more minutes left, and the whole audience is on their feet. They're excited. They're waiting to see who's going to end up winning this match. It's 3-3, and up until the last second, we have Brian put him in a submission because his knee was fucked up the whole time throughout this match. So MJF, he's holding in, trying not to tap because he knows only seconds before the timer runs out and it would end in a draw and he wouldn't have to give up the title. So the clock stops at 0, and right after it's at 0, then MJF starts tapping. But that doesn't count because the clock had already ran out. So I think it was apparent that the crowd was not feeling it. They figured it's over, it's a draw, it is what it is. So then Tony Schiavone, he's sitting at the booth and he got a message from Tony. Then Tony comes out. Tony Schiavone comes out to the ring and tells Justin that, you know, this is going to go to a sudden death. Now, I don't know why people are surprised about sudden death. You know, if there gotta be a winner, there gotta be a winner. And we've seen something like this, like HBK and Bret Michaels at WrestleMania 12. We've seen stuff like that. So I don't know why people were being so surprised and being like, oh my god, I can't believe this sudden death. Like, come on. I think that was the right call anyway. They end up doing this. So now I'm thinking, okay, well, since they went that route with it, maybe you know, Bryan Danielson would end up winning, and unfortunately that's not the case. I really just want to see Bryan champion. I think he really deserves it, but I think once again Tony Khan makes the right call here with MJF. I really feel like, with as far as the results go, they were focusing on the future of AEW as far as you know, the younger up and coming wrestlers, and all these guys did not mind putting these guys over. So I enjoyed the results. I actually enjoyed this pay-per-view throughout. I don't have any complaints. I just want to see where they go forward from here. I just feel like the next pay-per-view, Tony Khan, don't pull shit out of your ass last second. We need a build going into all these storylines. There was a big focus for the world title, and yes, that's understandable. That's the biggest title. That's where a huge focus is supposed to be at. But I feel like I need the same energy with all these other storylines. Guys, thanks so much for watching my video. I'll be back on Wednesday for Dynamite. Bye.